Hello and welcome into the LFC Transfer Room for another edition of the Debate Room, where we're going to be talking about should Kelleher be loaned out this summer, Keita, should he stay, should he go, rumours of a PSG bid, and should Liverpool be looking to spend big in this summer's window as well? What areas should we be strengthening in? I'm joined firstly by Damon and Jay. I'll start with you, Damon. How are we?
No, bad. Well, but life goes on, doesn't it?
Fortunately, yeah. How are you, Jay?
All good, mate. I'm over the Champions League final now. I'm not upset about it or nothing. So, yeah, back to norm.
I think I was over it, me. Like the minute full time went.
Probably all the shit you went through, though, innit, lads? You know what I mean? You're probably just glad to get out, to be fair.
I know. But we'll start with Kelleher. He has been a fantastic number 2 this year. He won us the Carabao Cup, played in the early stages of the FA Cup as well before we called upon Alisson. He's been the perfect number 2, really, and he's probably been a victim of his own success because we're now finding ourselves in a position where he looks like he's probably just too good to be a number 2, and we wouldn't hate him if he went to get minutes elsewhere. What was that? Is that a fair assessment of him, Damon?
Yeah, I mean, he's brilliant. He's done what he's been asked of. Time we've called upon him in the cup or even in the league last year. We missed Alisson for a couple of games last year, didn't we? But it is too good to be number 2. It's a shame, really, because I see him as an Alisson replacement in the future. I don't know if he could hit those levels, but you can't really guess, can you? Really, I think once he gets some first team experience out there, do you think he'd come back?
It's a good point. Out, Jay, would you loan him out, or do you think he'd be looking to leave? And if he did go on first team experience and excelled, say, had a season like, say, Dean Henderson, is it then unfair to then bring him back and let him rot back in you as a second choice?
It's funny enough you mentioned Henderson. He was the first one I thought of when Damon just mentions if he's done well elsewhere. I think he sort of probably needs a loan for his own career, because the only way you are going to improve as a goalkeeper, you need to play week in, week out. You've got to. But I think if we did loan him out, we probably need another keeper, because there's only Adrian's going to go in, so Pitaluga's a kid, so it might be a bit of a big ask for him to come in and play straight off the bat. So I don't know, maybe that's space for us to find another keeper.
With Kelleher, though, like, obviously Adrian is going to go, so Liverpool are in the market anyway for a keeper. This summer, it looks like a fair choice and experience dead. Would you, Damon, let him go out on loan if we did bring, say, Ben Foster in, for argument's sake, as that fair choice if Adrian does go and you went into the season with Ben Foster and Pitaluga as your backups? Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, I would actually. If we've got someone like Ben Foster in, I mean, his experience, and it's not like we're going to lose anything. I think he's just as good as Kelleher. I think Ben Foster, but getting Kelleher out in a loan situation gives us that chance then to see if he is good enough. Because if we just sell him and he excels somewhere else, we're like, look what we could have had. And Alisson could get injured. He could lose form. You don't know. To have a keeper like Kelleher and behind him is so important for competition's sake as well, really, because it puts a bit of pressure on Alisson, knowing that he's got a bit of a decent keeper behind him. But yeah, I'd go with that option. I'd go for loaning him out, bring someone like Foster in. I'm disagreeing with Foster, but he's going to be backup. He's not going to be number 1, But in that experience, look what we did with James Milner, bringing a bit of experience in the dressing room. You need that sometimes. So yeah, bring Foster in, loan him out, and see how he goes. If he's not good enough, we'll find that out in the loan.
It'd sense saying, Jay, keep him for 2 more seasons, then see where we're at. But I think what's important to factor in is the fact that Alisson is only 29, 30 this year, but keepers tend to play until late 30s. So we've probably got potentially another 9 or 10 years of Alisson. So then Kelleher's got to think of his own career on that point, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and that's sort of in everyone's interest for him to get a loan anyway. As Damon mentioned there, if he spends a season somewhere, it shows if he can cut it over a full season. Then, as you're saying, if Alisson's got 10 years, Kelleher going on loan somewhere, if he does impress, and Alisson's still at the level that he's at now, it gives us a better fee for him. So it probably makes sense all around, really, because Kelleher gets games, we get a bigger price if we need it, and then we find out if he's capable of playing at that level all the time if Alisson does drop off, which I can't see, but...
Yeah, it is just speculation at the minute. I think it's common knowledge that Kelleher probably will get a move this summer as a loan move. Damon, what league would you be looking at maybe trying to get him a loan move to? Would you look at maybe a side that's just came up into the Prem, give them some Prem experience, or maybe a side that's just went down to the top end of the Championship?
I think either, really. I think the lower Prem would be perfect because those teams that come up in the Premiership, they normally get battered every week, so it'd be quite busy. That's where you get the best keepers from most of the time. Look at Dean Henderson at Sheffield United. I mean, he came up. Same with when we bought. I know Mignolet didn't turn out to be brilliant, but when we bought Mignolet, he was unbelievable at Sunderland. And that was because he was, he was facing shots every single week, and it will get him an experience in terms of if he's fighting for relegation, those big games. You don't want him to go to a Championship side and just be mid-table. It's a different kettle of fish. I think if he's going to go to Championship, he needs to be one of those that are fighting for promotion. Those big games where you need your keeper to stand up. We've seen him in the finals, haven't we? That how much we can rely on him. But I think he needs that a bit more. And I think a lower Premier League team or higher Championship team would be perfect.
Is there any teams that stand out for you, Jay, then in like the lower Prem area? The only one I can think of who maybe may lose a keeper this year, I mean, I'm not saying he'd go there, would probably be Everton. I can see Pickford maybe getting a better move out of Everton this year. But who else would you say needs a keeper where Kelleher could look to think, yeah, I'll go in as a starter there?
I can imagine Burnley, because I can't see Nick Pope staying. Obviously that's a Championship, but it's a team that you'd think are going to be the top end of it. Same for West Brom. I think Johnston's not signing a new contract now, so they won't have a number one. So West Brom, you'd imagine it'd be fighting for promotion next season as well, because it's one of them loaning him to a lower Premiership team. If it's someone like Norwich or Leeds who just leak goals, he's probably going to look shit even if he's doing all right. So I'd probably rather him go to a very good Championship team that have got potential to come up rather than a terrible team in the Premier League, because the judgment on him might be unfair then, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, Adrian is not out of contract. I think he's still got another year, but
Has
as he came, I think so. Yeah, I'm sure he got a 2-year.
My God.
But I think he's came out, hasn't he, and said about going back to Spain anyway. So I think it's pretty much confirmed. I might be wrong about his contract, to be honest. Charlie's the best person for stuff like that, but I'm sure he got a 2-year deal. I'm sure of it because I remember there being murder when he got it as well.
Yeah, he was.
But is Peter Luger ready? I suppose if Liverpool prepared to let Kelleher go, Damon, on loan, it makes you beg the question: have they seen something with Peter Luger to maybe think, yeah, he is ready? I mean, he brought the Brazilian goalkeeping coach in as well. He's working with Daly, working with Alisson. Do you think the club have maybe seen him and thought, yeah, he is ready to maybe play our cup games?
Well, it's either that or they've got someone else in mind, because this week we saw a report about Ben Foster. I mean, it's very rare you see reports about keepers and transfer news coming out with keepers of Liverpool unless they really need a number one. So Ben Foster named this week in reports. I mean, that tells you something. I think that we are looking to get another keeper in. So you could use him in cups, maybe the Carabao Cup or the early stages of the FA Cup. But I do think they're looking at keeper because reports that come from nowhere.
Yeah, I think Haley's just made everyone's night there, saying the deal does run out this month, so we do have an option for another year. So hopefully we don't take that up. I don't think he's even played any games this year, has he? Was it just that one when we all had COVID?
Yeah, I can only remember one when Kelleher was out on it, because I remember thinking, Peter Luger could have played, yeah.
I was more worried it might have been Karius, to be honest.
My God.
Your mouth moved then, Damon, but nothing came out.
Right. I was hoping Milner went in net that night. I think there was
But yeah, we'll move on to Naby Keita. his first full season, Jay, without injury, really. He's only had a few knocks and not a Naby Keita season. He has impressed in some games this year. He's made us pull our hair out in other games. He's had his carriest moments in the Champions League final as well, it looks like. Keep or sell him?
I'd get rid, mate. I know he hasn't been injured as much this season, but if you go over the whole career, he has been injured most of it, and he's inconsistent, like you've just said, mate. When he's good, he looks brilliant. When he's bad, he's terrible. Like, you wouldn't even know he's on the pitch. He looks like a little old man sometimes, and everyone's just running past him, and he's trying to catch up type of thing. When they're talking about 30 million, I'd bite your hands off for it, mate. 1 year left on a contract for a player who's not consistent, generally injured except for the last season. With that, he's well liked in Germany as well, so I'd even consider going to Dortmund and saying, here's 60, Naby Keita, you've got a replacement there and you've got 60 million to go and spend. Even if not, he wouldn't be my first choice in midfielder, but if we could get 30 million off PSG and Tielemans is available for 35, who'd you rather have, Tielemans or Keita? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just easy for me. And I don't think Tielemans is great off the ball in terms of the way we press and stuff, but if you gave me the option of either of them, it'd be Tielemans all day.
Is that fair, Damon? I mean, there's reports PSG are willing to pay 50 million euros for Naby Keita. I think most of us would drive from the airport for that fee, wouldn't we?
I think, like Jay said, I think you got to bite their hand off, haven't they? If they offer 50 million euros for someone that is not consistent and is injured practically nearly every week. Usually, this season he's had a good season for his, but it's such a shame. It's such a shame for Keita, because when we bought him, I said to my mate, you know, he's going to be like player of the year worthy. He was that good, and he is that good. He's unbelievable on his day. Like Jay said, he's absolutely, it's unplayable at times, but we don't get it enough. So to have someone in the team that's you can't rely on week in, week out is the complete opposite of Wijnaldum in a way, where Wijnaldum was so reliable, and that's really killed us in the last 2 years since losing Wijnaldum, I think. But yeah, I'd get rid of him at 50 million euros if it meant getting someone like Bellingham. If we're gonna get that sort of money for Keita, we need to go all out for Bellingham. Honestly, we need to just do it. You know, a big club, so act like a big club.
Jay, like Ozzy's saying there, I don't know who else we could get for a similar fee if we sold them for 30 mil. I think there is more rumoured to be towards the 50. Do you think it makes more sense, rather than maybe getting into like a bidding deal with PSG, to go to Dortmund and say, we've got a player here who's proven in the German league, was unplayable in the German league, arguably the best midfielder in the league. We want him in exchange for Bellingham. Do you think that had more inclined Dortmund to give us Bellingham if they were getting 60 mil and Keita?
Yeah, definitely, because you've already got a replacement there and a player who's admired in Germany. He was arguably the best player in Germany when we got him. And more Thiago, funny enough, who was at Bayern at the time. They were probably the two best players. So I think that's a decent leverage offer. Keita is well known in Germany. Everyone knows how good he is when he played there. So you're already giving them a solution for the player they've lost, and you're giving them more money to spend. So I think that they'd be daft to not look at it at least. And like I say, the other thing is, even if they won't play around with that, and you can still get 50 million off Dortmund or 40, just go for Tielemans. You're getting a profit and a young player who's already played in the Prem for years, always fit.
What about you, Damon? Would you look at Tielemans?
He's good enough. I don't see him being a Liverpool player. I don't know what it is about him. I just don't see him being a Liverpool. I think there's better options out there, if I'm honest. I like Gavi. I like Tchouaméni, but Tchouaméni's out the door now. I like Bellingham. I prefer, if I'm going to go a Premiership, I prefer Jake and Babsy. If I was going to choose some Premiership.
Mine's purely because of the price. Like I said, like, he's not my first option, Tielemans, but it looks like Arsenal are the front runners, and it's 35 mil. I think he's well worth 35 mil. And if we come in for him, he's not going to pick Arsenal. That's all I mean by that. Out of him and Keita, that's who I prefer. He wouldn't be me first option in midfield.
Yeah. I think Arsenal are doing right if they do get him, because I think he's at their level right now. I don't know if I can see Keita going, not Keita, Tielemans going to the Champions League level that we need. He looks really good in a Leicester side, and he could do under Klopp. You know, what Klopp does to these players is unbelievable. So, you know, the jury's still out on that one, I think, regarding Tielemans. But to me, he's probably like 6th choice.
Yeah, I mean, I've just seen a comment there about Dortmund. They can't see them letting Haaland and Bellingham go in the same summer. Now, we are actually doing a video on this. I'm recording it later about why it's doable. But I can't remember what summer it was. I'm just trying to have a look now. Didn't they win the league and then sell Lewandowski, Goethe, and everything in the following summer, Dortmund?
And Hummels.
And Hummels and stuff,
And
yeah.
Mats Hummels, yeah. I'm not sure if they all went in the same year. I think it might have been over 2, but they'd have sold 2 or 3 in one of them.
See, that's where Dortmund are. They've always been a selling club, haven't they? So if you're going to them with their, like with Haaland, they didn't want to get rid of him really until they got the replacement in for him, which they got with Adeyemi. Do you think that Dortmund would, Damon, that they maybe would be more inclined to give us, and like I've just said, asked Jay, if we given them Keita in 60 mil, do you think that it is doable? Do you think that's something, because they're saying 80 million, so then that means if they're giving them 60 million and Keita, we're arguably giving them upwards of 100 million, aren't we?
Well, they will be inclined to do it, like you said. But at the end of the day, we're Liverpool. And if we really want to, and we offer the right money for him, they're not going to say no. It was the same with Man United last season with Jadon Sancho. They kept uffing and puffing on what they were going to offer them. And if they just offered what they said they were going to offer him in the first place, they'd have got him last year. Instead, they were here because they didn't want to offer what Dortmund were asking for. If we offer the right amount, they will accept it. You know, we've got to start moving like this now, because we're gonna fall backwards as much as we don't want us to do. We're gonna fall backwards. City have just bought Haaland in, and that is a game changer for the Premier League, because it's going to be very difficult to keep that sort of team in front with the goals they score anyway without a clinical striker like him. I mean, we need to respond to that, and I think getting Bellingham would be so perfect. And we need to just at least put a bid in and see if Dortmund move, see if they budge.
Do you think it is that much of a worry, Jay, Haaland coming in, given his injury record in the Bundesliga this year, considering it's a slower league?
It's not even his injury record. Carragher said something on Sky Sports the other week, and it made perfect sense. City are already at that level. There's no higher. When you're getting 95 points a season, 100 points, the only way of getting better is winning every single game. I don't think Haaland wins them every single game. I just think that in big games like semi-finals of Champions Leagues and stuff, he gives you that edge then, that you don't miss them chances that they maybe miss now. Other than that, I don't think it like changes the league that City are guaranteed to win it, to be honest, no. But I agree with Damon that we should be making a statement signing to show, look, we're still here. Because obviously everyone is saying that City will run away with everything because of Haaland. And not just because of what City is doing. We need midfielders. It's aging. A good few players are going to leave this year. Oxley, Milner, potentially. And even we could sell Keita, who knows. So we're going to need a couple of players in, to be fair.
So speaking of money then that we're going to have to put into it, Damon, do you think it is plainly just midfield and one attacker that we need to be putting money into, or is it just pure? Do you think with the arrival of Fabio Carvalho, and I do think one of Mane or Salah will probably depart, so we're going into the season with probably your Jota, Bobby, Salah / Mane, Carvalho, RV Elliott, or who can all play in that attack? Do you think Liverpool will focus mainly on fixing the midfield this summer, or do you think it will get an attacker in as well?
I think it depends who goes, because with the Salah thing at the moment, it's up and down. It's like one day is definitely going, next day is definitely not going. It's a weird situation. Like Mane looks like it's often. So we definitely need a number 9, and I think regarding another forward, I do think we need another right winger. to back up Salah, whether it be someone like Bowen who was willing to wait to be number one. That's a big question, that, because Bowen's, is good enough now to be number one on the right wing for Liverpool. It's just being Salah there. It's near enough impossible, isn't it, to take over. We definitely need a midfielder. We definitely need a striker. That's two definite players we need. But I still think we need two midfielders. I don't know what Jay thinks or you, but I think we need two.
I think it depends who leads, doesn't it? Like, I agree with what Gary's saying here as well. Say, in a sense, of stop shoehorning wingers into strikers, get a striker, because I do think Liverpool need an out-and-out striker for that Plan B-esque type thing, like an out-and-out goal scorer for the low block teams. But I think with midfielders, we could need upwards of 3 if James Milner did go, whether people think he's a vital part of the side or not. He does get minutes quite often within the side, so you got to replace him. Got the Ox potentially leaving. There's rumours of Keita going as well. So then you're going into the season with Fabinho, Thiago, and Hendo as your only midfield 3, really. And Thiago and Henderson do pick up knocks throughout the season. And we've seen this year with Fabinho as well. He'll pick up a few knocks. So I don't know about you, Jay, but I think we probably need 3 midfielders if we're letting these go.
100%, lads. All them midfielders you mentioned pick up knocks. Fabinho's picked up knocks every season. Henderson does every season a couple, and Thiago does. So even Keita, I know he's just had that season, but even if he stayed, they're not really a midfield forward that you can rely on to play the amount of games we've just played. So yeah, I think a minimum of 2 midfielders definitely. And then the forward line, if Mane was to stay, I don't think we need anything. If he goes, then yeah, we definitely do. But I agree with what you and Gary are saying, that we need a centre forward. But there isn't really any centre forward out there now that I think, I want him. Who's an out-and-out centre forward? I can't think of one where to go, I want him. And the thing about not turning wingers into forwards, it's worked. Salah's got the golden boot 3 times. Mane's won it once, so why not do that if it works?
Yeah. What would you think about that, Damon? Is that the model we should be looking at? Maybe getting more wingers in who can get us the goals like Mane and Salah did, or do you think someone like Darwin Núñez, who we've been linked to massively in the past few weeks, everyone's confirming it now? Do you think he is the go-to, really, that out and out number 9 that Liverpool may be lacking against the low block sides?
Again, with Núñez, it's about the money involved as well. I mean, 80 million, 100 million for a player that's not even proven. It's a lot of money to waste. I mean, we let Man United do that, not us. So it could be a good investment in the end. But it's like I said, it's I don't think it's a chance that you need to take on Núñez. If they can get the price down, then fair enough. But at that price, you can't really. I've been doing profiles on forwards this week on Liverpool targets on our articles, and I've been looking at different forwards who would suit us. I'll tell you one forward that would suit us if we got him as if we got 2 forwards and we got him included. I think Ivan Toney would suit us. If we got say Núñez, I think we could get Ivan Toney as like a backup option. I think he'd be happy to be on the bench. And just another. I don't think we need to change the style of play, but it gives us another different plan. I don't know what you two think about that.
Pass you straight onto that, Jay.
It just reminds me a bit of Ricky Lambert, to be honest. That type of signing. Not like to disrespect what you've looked into, and I appreciate, obviously, you think that would be a good signing, but I think we're a bit of a level above looking at players like Ivan Toney now. I'd be disappointed if he was one of our signings, if we didn't make a proper stellar signing like Chiesa or something like that. I just think there's a completely different level from what Tony's doing. He's good for Brentford, but to come to Liverpool, it's a different game.
Yeah, and like Louis said, can we get 20 likes on this video? There's loads of you watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It does really help us out a lot. You may think it's not, but it does go a long way for us. Gary's saying here, Damon, with Mane and Origi going, we need a striker. The front 3 is stale now. Needs to freshen up. Here we've missed out on Vlahovic, Haaland and Mbappe. It'd be foolish to miss out on Núñez. I think it's unfair to say we missed out on Haaland and Mbappe, because I think City was nailed on for Haaland or Real Madrid, and with Mbappe, we did ask the question. He said, no, we want Madrid or stay. at PSG. So I think it's unfair. But Vlahovic, yeah, I would say is one we've missed out on. Nunes, Damon, everyone massively impressed with him. Do you think he's the, if it wasn't Ivan Toney, do you think Nunes is the one that Liverpool probably should go all guns blazing for? Talking 60 million to maybe get his signature, and United are after him as well.
I think we've all wanted. I think we've all said at some point that we really want Nunes. So I'd be stupid to say go back against my words and say Nunes now. But again, it goes down to the money. I think if there is there better out there at the moment? I don't know. If I personally, if I were choosing myself and I was the owners, I'd be going for Kane, because I think there's another 4 or 5 years in Kane yet, and him coming to this Liverpool team guarantees us a trophy, at least one trophy. Well, I think one of the big boys as well. I really do. I believe that. But Nunes, if we can get the price down, then yeah, I'd go for him. But if it were my choice, it'd be Kane every day.
Kane or Nunes, Jay? Who would you go for? Do you get Harry Kane, who is 29, probably got 4 years left in him, or do you go for Nunes, the younger option, and mould him into potentially the next Harry Kane?
It's easy, really. You've got to go for Kane, haven't you? And if it's between them two, but I don't think that's something that could ever happen. In truth, I think that's one of the hardest transfers to pull off now. They are back in the Champions League.
The fact they've got Conte in Champions League, or do you think?
Yeah, that's the only reason I think it is. I think if Tottenham missed out on the Champions League, we probably would have had a big shout because Haaland's already gone to City. If we'd have went for Kane, I think we'd have got him if they didn't go in the Champions League. But now they're back in it, he's going to think they've got a slight chance of a title challenge. And going off Conte's record, to be fair, if they back him properly this summer, I fancy Tottenham to challenge, I really do. I rate him that highly. I think he's brilliant, Conte. So I'd pick Kane, but I don't think it's realistic. And the only way I'd go for Nunes is if Klopp wants him, because he always gets it right with forwards. I don't personally want him. I think he's got a bad first touch, and scoring goals in Portugal isn't the same as scoring goals in the Premier League. Although he was brilliant against us over both legs, to be fair to him.
Halo, I think we all wish we could get him back. Prime time,
Yeah.
perfect in this side. But who else do you reckon then, Damon, other than Kane? Is there anyone out there, bar like Tony and Kane, you may think that, because Liverpool do like to get players under the radar. Like we've seen players come in like Diaz. He sort of came from nothing.
I quite like for Napoli. I think his style sort of suits Liverpool again, but they're asking for a lot of money again. I think they're asking for like 70, 80 million again. I mean, that's just ridiculous money for players that aren't proven in a decent league. I know Serie A's coming back on the up, but it's still not a decent league where it's not like the 90s. But I like Ottoman, and then Kunku, I think, is another definitely top player because of his versatility. He could play attacking mid, he could play at left, and he could play up front. So those are the other two I think we should be looking at, yeah.
All out from Kunku then, Jay, this summer.
Yeah, I've said it all summer, lads. Yeah, he can play across the front three comfortably. His numbers are ridiculous, and he's a Klopp player. If we didn't, I'd like a surprise one, Chiesa. I think Chiesa's unreal, and he'd be brilliant in our system. He just doesn't stop running.
Anyone from Juventus though this year with them getting the likes of Pogba back? They got Vlahovic in as well. It seems like Juve are in a period to rebuild themselves.
But they were meant to be skint, weren't they? But they keep pulling off big transfers, so I'm not too sure what's happening there. And it's not like they had a great season in Italy either. I think they only finished fourth, but for Juventus, that's poor. So he's had a bad injury, and he so it depends, obviously, if he's the same player after it. But I think he's a boss player, mate. But Nkunku would be my number one. His versatility, and I think he suits our system to a T. I like Danny Olmo as well, actually. No one's talking about him, but I think he's a really good player, and he fits our system well as well.
I like this player as well. The guy who's on about Matheus Cunha.
Yeah, Brazilian lad.
He's fantastic, and he's slot in as well. We've got a good Brazilian core within the team. But before we go, I want to get your thoughts on this. This is what Scout African's saying for a good window. Salah and Mane out, and Nunes and Bowen in. Before we go, I'll just get a yes or no. We'll just be happy with that start.
No chance. Not just those two. No, not for Salah and Mane.
What about you, Jay?
No, not a chance, lads. I'd be devastated. Two proven world-class players for Bowen and a kid who's playing in Portugal. Not a chance. Bowen hasn't even played Champions League. So
That's
why
me.
would you get rid of them two for them?
That's why I worry with Bowen. Everyone seems to really rate him. He does look like a good player. If Charlie's listening, he's going to kill me for even saying anything bad about him. But I don't think he's Liverpool quality.
I like him. He works hard on that. And I don't know if it's because his name's Jared Bowen that I'm like underwhelmed by signing him and I want some mad name. Because I don't know what it is. There is a pull when there's a name, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like if he came up, he'd be underwhelmed. But at the same time, I feel like if Klopp went for him, there'd be a reason for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, whenever he signs a forward, mate, like, even at Dortmund, it was him who found Lewandowski, Aubameyang, obviously Mane or us, Salah. He just knows forwards that score goals.
I think if West Ham were held on to that lead against Man City, I think we should be signing him anyway, just for that.
He should have scored at hat-trick, actually.
Mm.
He missed a sitter for the third. It's in my head then. Then I thought, I don't want you know.
That's the thing with him. If you watch him, he's like a bit like Salah, who will score the impossible but miss the easy.
Yeah, he's a good player. I do like him.
I can't take any more of that scoring world. He's not scoring easy tap-ins.
Yeah.
To be honest. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Anthony as well, and Rafinha. There's loads of names out there. I'd take Anthony before Rafinha, though, to be fair. I'll see. I'm not sold on Rafinha, really. But yeah, we'll leave it there. We will be back tomorrow. I think it's another debate. Is it tomorrow? No, it is a keep, sell, loan. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, be a good one.
Have a debate on are Man United still a big club?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say they are anymore. Ground's falling to bits. The training ground's crap.
Watch this space.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a nice one to Jay and Damon for joining us on this stream. Nice one to everyone for watching. If you're new around here, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel as well. We've been LFC Transfer Room, and a nice one for watching.